Hello everyone, today I'm here to review for you Caesar, Seize Rome in 20 minutes. This is a two-player game where you're going to be pulling chips from a bag and trying to control areas of the battlefield. The game is from PSC Games originally and now Floodgate Games, who did provide this to me for the review. Let's talk about how the game plays and then I'll give you my thoughts and feelings on it. One player will take up the role of Caesar, the other Pompey, as you are then going to be trying to control points on the board. You're trying to put these control markers down for controlling areas and other things such as Senate votes, effectively, as you're trying to just get rid of all of your control markers to show that you control Rome. Starting off, you're going to put a shield in front of you and you're going to then swirl all your chips in your bag around and pull two out, hiding them behind your screen. These chips are going to give you strength that you're going to be adding onto the battlefield in two directions. Often it's a big number on one side and a low on the other, but some are also a bit more balanced. There's some which have got to be placed on specific places, like ones with boat symbols. Some have shields, some have swords that go in specific places. There's also some wild ones that you can put anywhere, though often the wild ones are a little bit weaker. On a turn, you're going to take one of the tokens from behind your screen and add it to the board in a way that the line is sort of maintained. It's going to have its two strengths pointing into two different regions. Each region has a number of points around it that you're going to be adding these tokens to, and if it's the last one for that area, well, first of all, you will take the bonus token on that space, and then you'll determine who's actually won it. We'll touch on those bonus tokens in a minute, but you'll add up the sort of numbers from the strengths on the tiles around it, and therefore you'll work out who's won. If it's a draw, no one gets a control marker, but otherwise you'll take one from your control sort of area on the board and put it down into that area. If you also manage to have two regions next to each other that you control, you'll put an additional one sort of connecting the two as a bit of a bonus. So that's the main aim, because you're trying to, when these areas are finished, have the most strength in them to control them. But those bonus tokens will be very helpful. And actually at some times you might close an area off, put that sort of token into the last space around it, even though you're not going to win it. And why might you do that? If you're the last person to play a token to that region, then you get the bonus token. These could see you flip one of the opponent's tokens. So maybe they've got this massive 6 value strength one down and you turn it over so it's worth 0. Another one is take another turn straight away. One is you'll take an additional chip from your bag. Normally you start the game having 2. At the end of each turn you'll draw back up to 2, but if you get a wealth token, then you get to have a 3rd, 4th, maybe even a 5th token behind your screen, so you have more choice. The last bonus token is a little bit more complicated. When you take one of these Senate tokens, if you're placing a control marker down into that region, so not only did you finish it, but you also control it, you'll put one of your control markers, an additional one, underneath that Senate token, sort of off to the side of the board, when you get your first one. When you get your second one, if again, or maybe you didn't for the first one, but your second one, you're also controlling that area when you've got that token, you're going to put 2 underneath it because you've got 2 Senate tokens, and that allows you to either catch up or really push ahead. In total, you need to get rid of your 12 control markers. It doesn't really matter how, be that from the Senates, be that from controlling areas or adjacent areas, so you're putting those bonus ones down. You get rid of all of your 12, you win the game. So Caesar Seize Rome in 20 minutes is all about sort of the luck that you're pulling from the bag. You're hiding what you've got behind your shield. At times you're praying, oh please don't go on that space because I have a powerful ship that I could be adding to that location. And then your opponent takes that space and they put a really bad token down, but it's still blocked you. You're going to determine when you're wanting those bonus tokens or not, and you're trying to just get rid of your control markers through any way that you can. Let's touch first on the bag building element of it. It's a really cool way that just randomizes things. Yeah, you can get a little bit screwed over by, I really need shields and I've not got any of the shield ones coming out, so I can't add to that space. But there's enough wilds in there, and well, if you've not got that, why don't you try and look at a different part of the battlefield that you're going for? Yeah, they might win that region over here, but you might just be able to sneak the region over here instead. And from one game to another, you might have all of the fighting at the top or all of the bottom of the map, and maybe a next one is spread out a little bit. And it's what you're getting from those tokens. Now, you can do something about that. Those world tokens allow you to have like 3, maybe more tokens for you to choose from. So if you're not enjoying the luck aspect of pulling from a bag, well, A, you know that you're going to eventually pull one of those tokens you need. B, try and win those areas to gain more things. Or you don't even need to control the area. You just need to be the person that adds a token to it last. They might be obviously going to win that region, but there's one space left. Alright, I'll put my 6 strength down token. Obviously I'm not putting the 6 in because it won't be enough to win the area. I'll put the 0. It's the last token, so I get the bonus. So at times the game starts to be not you trying to win areas, but it starts to be, I'm going to try and make sure there's no opportunities for my opponent to sneak in for a bonus, or if they've got a really good token, to be able to play that at the perfect time and take that thing away from me, that region that I thought I was going to be able to control. And if I was going to control that, it would have cascaded in loads of my tokens going down, because I'd have had 2 adjacent territories controlled. So it's a really very satisfying sort of experience as you're pulling from that bag and really praying for the right tokens to come up. If it wasn't for those bonus tokens, the game would feel very much just back and forth, but they do make those turns feel that bit bigger. Yes, if you get a Senate token when you're not controlling an area, it's not great, but maybe you've denied it from you, like for your opponent, but also if you get one later on, it could still have given you some value. Like taking another turn, that could be huge. You could just control one area, maybe control another one because you've taken a second turn. That feels huge. Flipping an opponent's token, that it gives you a huge amount of choice, because you can flip one of their control markers that they've placed. It doesn't stop them, they've still placed it, but then if they control an adjacent place, they don't get that sort of connected bonus. So there's choices there, or just taking a sort of a token they've already put down that's super strong, flip that one over and watch them sort of be like, oh, I didn't see that one coming, and now I'll probably lose that region. And you can sort of see that going through their mind. I really like those bonus tokens. There are actually additional ones in the box. There's 2 sort of like mini expansions. They're not sort of ones that I would recommend you playing with for the first few times. But being able to add the Centurions in and the poison tokens in, they are pretty cool. After a number of games, you might just want to spice it up a little bit and choose one of those other different types of bonus tokens to throw in. As the components go, it's a pretty nice looking vivid sort of board in the middle. The tokens are really clear with the iconography, like you know when you're taking that bonus token, that's what you're getting, because it's an obvious symbol. Also, on the reverse of your screen, it's got a reminder of what they do. In the first game, you're going to be reading that. After a game or 2, you probably won't need to though, but it's really nice that on the back of those screens, they used that space and actually put that information. Now, one of my screens doesn't perfectly touch, sort of, depending on how you've put it in front, doesn't perfectly touch the table. There's like a millimetre gap. If you knock it, your opponent's going to see what pieces you have. And when you've played 1 or 2 games, that doesn't really matter. But once you've played quite a bit, then they're going to notice, oh, they've not got, say, any ships. I could maybe leave that space free for me to go in a turn or 2, because I've got one. and you can that sort of information would therefore be useful. So while I would say the screens work really well for reminding you what like those bonus tokens do, and they do a generally good job of sort of hiding, they're not like a thick DM screen that if you nudge it's not going to fall over or whatever. You nudge that, they'll probably reveal what's there. Pulling from the bags is really satisfying, much like another game where you're doing it a lot, Quacks of Quedlinburg. You put your hand in that bag, you swirl it around, there's loads of tokens in, you pull one out, and then, oh, it's not the one I was hoping for. Maybe you were hoping for a wild so you could go in a certain area, or just one of the really strong ones, you know, you're hoping to pull that out. But the tokens that you do pull out, well, I say you're hoping for a strong one, but they are generally balanced. The normal ones mostly add up to 6, so if it's a 6 strength on one side, it's a 0 on the other, or maybe it's a 3 on both sides. The wild ones, they're often weaker, they add up only to 4, so maybe it is a 1 and a 3 on the 2 different sides. So that's a nice balance that at times you're really having to choose, right, I'm going to be putting this token down and it's really affecting this area, but well, it's effectively nothing in the other area. Maybe giving my opponent an opening to put one of their strong tokens down. Obviously, the selling point of Caesar Sees Rome in 20 minutes is that playtime, and to be fair, it's pretty accurate. Alright, we've had games go shorter than it, we've not really had any games go longer than 20 minutes. And that means it's a perfect game for getting to the table, playing a quick round, going, I want a rematch because I just got dumped on. I want to go again, and I'm going to do things slightly differently this sort of time. I really like that sort of very good amount of choices to time ratio. Every turn you're making a choice, an important one that is going to impact what your opponent's going to be doing back at you in a second. And those turns are normally really quick and snappy. The only time it's not is when you have like a double turn because of one of those bonus tokens. And even then, your opponent isn't exactly sat around just watching the time, waiting. No, they're looking exactly at what you're doing, thinking, oh, if they don't go there, I could sneak in, ninja in with a strong token, or even a middle-y token, and get some good strength in those areas. So it's back and forth very quickly, even when someone has a double turn. And yeah, great choices throughout, though, that you're impacting this sort of battlefield with the token placements throughout. So overall, what do I think of Caesar Sees Rome in 20 minutes? Well, I do really like it. There's a couple of caveats, I would say. Yeah, that sort of little screen, they do their job. I like that there's a reminder on them, but they are a little sort of thin. The other thing is that, is that luck of pulling from the bag. If that's sort of not your thing, you don't like that sort of luck, you like to be able to see everything, all of your options and choose from all of them, then this might not be for you. But I think that just helps keep the speed of the game up because you've got only limited options and limited choices. But you've got wilds that help mitigate a bit of that, and you've got that bonus token of wealth to give you the option maybe for more tokens and stuff like that. So there is some ways around that bag pulling luck if that isn't your jam. But I've really enjoyed it, and the fact that it plays in such a quick time, I think it's an absolutely fantastic little design. And it's kind of that easy, quick pick up and play, pull some tokens from the bag, place them out, good choices on each turn that I really like the game for. So have you had a chance to seize Rome in 20 minutes? Would you go for Caesar or for Pompeii? Let us know in the comment section below, and hopefully this review has helped you know if it's a game for you or not. And until next time, have a Caesaring good day.